Welcome back. Tonight we're doing something a little different. We're addressing parents' concerns ahead of schools reopening. Tonight we're focusing on Charlotte County schools. In the past 15 minutes, we've talked about the learning options and some safety protocols in place to help protect against the spread of the coronavirus. Now we want to talk about a big question on parents' minds. What happens if another student or your child's teacher tests positive for the virus?
We can't diagnose them with what's wrong with them. And if it comes that they have that, then it's going to involve the health department. If they're off and then it's going to be, they have a contract with the district and sick leave and everything like that. And if it comes, then, well, why should I came in, I got sick at your school. I wouldn't have got sick if I didn't come to school. So that's going to go where, it'll either be back to the health department or the union.
What happens if a teacher gets sick in class? Like, is the whole class going to have to quarantine? And
I don't want to say
school?
thank you for asking that, but thank you for asking that. But here's the reason. What people think is if a teacher gets sick, we don't diagnose them as sick. We're not doctors. That'll be the health department, Charlotte County Health Department. So if something like that happens, the health department's I'm not going to say we're going to stand down, but they're going to advise us what to do, and we're going to follow their recommendations. So we stay in constant contact with them. So that, that they know, we say, look, we think this may happen. What should we do? So we have good advice coming from there. So another thing, the question came up, well, does this count against their insurance? And do they have to pay for this? Is school covering this? Because, that is going to be negotiations with the union then. And then if this something happens that we have several people and a number of people, we're going to be working with the insurance company to figure out what we can do, to help everybody out. So that's a tough one.
But it's going to rely on parents so much to make sure if my child possibly has a symptom of COVID-19, I need to keep them home.
This has been the toughest thing, too, with the children being home and the parents who need to work and have to work. And, that's a tough to juggle. That's very difficult. But this is something that I believe, after 40 years in education, that the parent is the child's first and very best teacher. If you can instill in them and work with them and, work together with what our plan is and try and explain. And I know a little kid's a little kid. Yeah, it's important that, that they don't send, even to our staff, if someone's staff's coming and they don't feel good, you have to stay home. You have to. We've had a clinic and a nurse in every school for years. They're ready. They've done some training for this. And if the kid's temperature, I believe it's 101 or above or something, they're going to contact the parent to come get the child, and it's just precautionary.
Is there going to be calls like that to parents, the automated message to parents if there are COVID-19 cases? Have you guys talked about that?
Well, there's something in the dealing too with HIPAA, about medical things you can't say, but we're working on that right now. I will say that too. The superintendent has been pretty good through this virtual time too, to talk to the parents maybe once a week or something to reassure them that we're trying hard for their kids. But there will be some health alert kind of things, announcements and reminders to families about what's happening and what they need to maybe do at the home front before the kids come to school.
Have you guys started having conversations about what the typical drills will look like now that we have this situation? The tornado drills, fire drills, things like that.
With the fire drill and the tornado drill, we can deal with that. But the active shooter drill, they've got a safe spot. So are you going to make these children get back there and huddle together in the corner? So that's something I'm going to ask, how we're planning on handling that.
Well, masks are going to be required for all students and staff returning to the classroom. Up next, how the district's planning to enforce this rule. Watching Fox 4 News at 6.